Welcome to International Student Brief. The content of the briefing includes: state law requires Oklahoma schools to offer 4 AP classes. How many hit the bar? Why the ONS massively underestimated net migration. Far-right, anti-Islam populist Geert Wilders wins massive victory in Dutch elections. Far-right Wilders set for landslide win in Dutch election, exit poll shows. Sending prisoners abroad could cost £200 million and won't happen until 2026. State law requires Oklahoma schools to offer 4 AP classes. How many hit the bar? Yahoo! Only 25% of high schools in Oklahoma met the state's minimum requirements for advanced placement (AP) courses last year, according to an analysis of College Board data by Oklahoma Watch. By the 2024-25 school year, all 471 public high schools in the state will need to offer at least 4 AP courses, under a law enacted last year. The courses are more rigorous than a typical high school class and are on a par with college-level work. Students who score 3 or higher on the end-of-course exam can receive college credit for the class. Why the ONS massively underestimated net migration. Telegraph. The Office for National Statistics, ONS, has revised its estimate of net migration to the UK in 2022, blaming a major shift in the behaviour of foreign workers and students. The ONS originally calculated net migration for the year to December 2022 as 606,000, but has now upgraded that figure to 745,000, making it the highest annual net migration on record. The revision is due to overseas workers and students staying longer in the UK than previously thought, leading to an underestimation of the number of long-term migrants. The figures highlight the changing nature of international migrants coming to the UK, with non-EU migrants from further afield now more likely to stay longer. Far-right, anti-Islam populist Geert Wilders wins massive victory in Dutch elections. ABC. Geert Wilders, leader of the Dutch anti-EU Freedom Party, PVV, is looking for coalition partners after his party won 37 seats out of 150 in the recent election. Wilders has pledged to halt immigration, slash Dutch payments to the EU, and block the entrance of any new members. Although he has previously called for anti-Islamic measures, such as a ban on the Quran and the closure of Islamic schools, he did not mention these in his victory speech. It is unclear if Wilders will be able to form a broad enough coalition to govern the country. Far-right Wilders set for landslide win in Dutch election, exit poll shows. South China Morning Post. Dutch populist politician Geert Wilders is set for a major victory in parliamentary elections, according to an exit poll. Wilders' Freedom Party, PVV, was projected to win 35 out of 150 seats, beating all predictions. The exit poll put the PVV 10 seats ahead of the closest rival. Wilders' anti-immigration stance, blaming a housing shortage on asylum seekers, resonated with voters. In a victory speech, Wilders vowed to bring an end to a tsunami of asylum and immigration. Wilders has previously faced death threats due to his inflammatory views on Islam and lives under heavy police protection. Sending prisoners abroad could cost £200 million and won't happen until 2026. The Independent. Plans to send UK prisoners to jails abroad are estimated to cost at least £200 million, $265 million, according to the UK government's own assessments. Justice Secretary Alex Chalk announced the plans in October in an attempt to ease overcrowding in English prisons. The Ministry of Justice expects to be able to send between 500 and 1,000 prisoners to foreign jails, with 600 places being the most likely scenario. However, the full costs of this policy are unknown, and the plan depends on which countries agree to take inmates. Dear viewers, I am Dr. Hex, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news updates. Let's jump right into it. In Oklahoma, it seems that not all high schools are meeting the state's requirements for offering advanced placement (AP) courses. Only 25% of high schools in the state met the minimum requirement last year, and by 2024-25, all public high schools will need to offer at least 4 AP courses. These courses are more challenging than regular high school classes and give students the opportunity to earn college credit. So, it's time for some schools to hit the books and step up their AP game. Moving across the pond to the UK, it turns out that the Office for National Statistics, ONS, has underestimated the net migration to the country. They initially estimated net migration for 2022 to be 606,000, but it has now been revised to a whopping 745,000, making it the highest annual net migration on record. The ONS blames this underestimation on a change in the behaviour of foreign workers and students, who are staying longer in the UK than previously thought. Looks like the UK is becoming quite the popular destination. In the Netherlands, the far-right, anti-Islam populist Geert Wilders has won a massive victory in the recent elections. His Freedom Party, PVV, secured 37 out of 150 seats, and Wilders is now on the hunt for coalition partners. He has promised to halt immigration, cut payments to the EU, and block the entry of new members. While he didn't mention his anti-Islamic measures in his victory speech, there are still concerns about his ability to form a broad enough coalition to govern the country. Looks like the political landscape in the Netherlands is about to get interesting. Speaking of Wilders, an exit poll shows that he is set for a landslide win in the Dutch elections. The PVV is projected to win 35 seats, which is 10 seats ahead of the closest rival. Wilders' anti-immigration stance, particularly his views on asylum seekers, seems to have struck a chord with voters. In his victory speech, he vowed to put an end to what he calls a tsunami of asylum and immigration. Wilders has been a controversial figure due to his inflammatory views on Islam and has even faced death threats, living under heavy police protection. It's clear that his message has resonated with a significant portion of the Dutch population. Lastly, let's talk about the UK's plan to send prisoners abroad. The government estimates that this policy will cost at least £200 million and aims to ease overcrowding in English prisons. The plan is to send between 500 and 1,000 prisoners to foreign jails, with 600 places being the most likely scenario. However, there are still unknown costs and the plan depends on which countries agree to take in the inmates. Looks like the UK is exploring some international options to deal with its prison population. And there you have it, folks. Some interesting news stories from around the world. Now, it's time to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these topics? Do you have any burning questions? Let's keep the discussion going. Dr. Hex, thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.